Chapter 14. Amaziah of Judah. In the 2nd year of Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, Amaziah, son of Joash, became king of Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoadin. She was from Jerusalem. He lived the way God wanted and did the right thing. But he didn't come up to the standards of his ancestor David. Instead, he lived pretty much as his father Joash had. The local sex and religion shrines continued to stay in business, with people frequenting them. When he had the affairs of the kingdom well in hand, he executed the palace guard that had assassinated his father the king. But he didn't kill the sons of the assassins. He was obedient to what God commanded, written in the word revealed to Moses, that parents shouldn't be executed for the children's sins, nor children for those of their parents. We each pay personally for our sins. Amaziah roundly defeated Edom in the Valley of Salt, to the tune of 10,000 dead. In another battle, he took the rock and renamed it Joktheel, the name it still bears. One day, Amaziah sent envoys to Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, challenging him to a fight. "Come and meet with me, I dare you. Let's have it out, face to face." Jehoash, king of Israel, replied to Amaziah, king of Judah. One day, a thistle in Lebanon sent word to a cedar in Lebanon, "Give your daughter to my son in marriage." But then, a wild animal of Lebanon passed by and stepped on the thistle, crushing it. Just because you've defeated Edom in battle, you now think you're a big shot. Go ahead and be proud, but stay home. Why press your luck? Why bring defeat on yourselves in Judah? Amaziah wouldn't take no for an answer. So Jehoash, king of Israel, gave in and agreed to a battle between him and Amaziah, king of Judah. They met at Beth Shemesh, a town of Judah. Judah was thoroughly beaten by Israel. All their soldiers ran home in defeat. Jehoash, king of Israel, captured Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, at Beth Shemesh. But Jehoash didn't stop there. He went on to attack Jerusalem. He demolished the wall of Jerusalem, all the way from the Ephraim gate to the corner gate, a stretch of about 600 feet. He looted the gold, silver, and furnishings, anything he found that was worth taking, from both the palace and the temple of God. And for good measure, he took hostages. Then he returned to Samaria. The rest of the life and times of Jehoash, his significant accomplishments, and the fight with Amaziah, king of Judah, are all written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Jehoash died and was buried in Samaria in the cemetery of the kings of Israel. His son Jeroboam became the next king. Amaziah, son of Joash, king of Judah, continued as king 15 years after the death of Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel. The rest of the life and times of Amaziah is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. At the last, they cooked up a plot against Amaziah in Jerusalem, and he had to flee to Lachish. But they tracked him down in Lachish and killed him there. They brought him back on horseback and buried him in Jerusalem with his ancestors in the city of David. Azariah, he was only 16 years old at the time, was the unanimous choice of the people of Judah to succeed his father Amaziah as king. Following his father's death, he rebuilt and restored Elath to Judah. Jeroboam II of Israel. In the 15th year of Amaziah, son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, son of Jehoash, became king of Israel in Samaria. He ruled for 41 years. As far as God was concerned, he lived an evil life, never deviating an inch from all the sin of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who led Israel into a life of sin. But he did restore the borders of Israel to Lebo-Hamath in the far north and to the Dead Sea in the south, matching what God, the God of Israel, had pronounced through his servant Jonah, son of Amittai, the prophet, from Gath-Hepher. God was fully aware of the trouble in Israel, its bitterly hard times. No one was exempt, whether slave or citizen, and no hope of help anywhere was in sight. But God wasn't yet ready to blot out the name of Israel from history. So he used Jeroboam, son of Jehoash, to save them. The rest of the life and times of Jeroboam, his victories in battle, and how he recovered for Israel both Damascus and Hamath, which had belonged to Judah. These are all written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Jeroboam died and was buried with his ancestors in the royal cemetery. His son Zechariah became the next king. Chapter 15. Azariah, Uzziah of Judah. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Azariah, son of Amaziah, became king in Judah. He was 16 years old when he began his rule, and he was king for 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jechaliah. She was from Jerusalem. He did well in the eyes of God, following in the footsteps of his father, Amaziah. But he also failed to get rid of the local Saxon religion shrines. They continued to be popular with the people. God afflicted the king with a bad skin disease until the day of his death. He lived in the palace but no longer acted as king. His son Jotham ran the government and ruled the country. The rest of the life and times of Azariah, everything he accomplished, is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. Azariah died and was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. Jotham, his son, was king after him. Zechariah of Israel. In the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Zechariah, son of Jeroboam, became king over Israel and Samaria. He lasted only 6 months. He lived a bad life before God, no different from his ancestors. He continued in the line of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who led Israel into a life of sin. Shallum, son of Jabesh, conspired against him, assassinated him in public view, and took over as king. The rest of the life and times of Zechariah is written plainly in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. That completed the word of God that was given to Jehu, namely, for 4 generations your sons will sit on the throne of Israel. Zechariah was the 4th. Shallum of Israel. Shallum, son of Jabesh, became king in the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah. He was king in Samaria for only a month. Menahem, son of Gadi, came up from Tirzah to Samaria. He attacked Shallum, son of Jabesh, and killed him. He then became king. The rest of the life and times of Shallum and the account of the conspiracy are written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Menahem of Israel. Using Tirzah as his base, Menahem opened his reign by smashing Tifsah, devastating both the town and its suburbs because they didn't welcome him with open arms. He savagely ripped open all the pregnant women. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Menahem, son of Gadi, became king over Israel. He ruled from Samaria for 10 years. As far as God was concerned, he lived an evil life. Sin for sin, he repeated the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who led Israel into a life of sin. Then Tiglath-Pileser III, king of Assyria, showed up and attacked the country. But Menahem made a deal with him. He bought his support by handing over about 37 tons of silver. He raised the money by making every landowner in Israel pay 50 shekels to the king of Assyria. That satisfied the king of Assyria, and he left the country. The rest of the life and times of Menahem, everything he did, is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Menahem died and joined his ancestors. His son Pekahiah became the next king. Pekahiah of Israel. In the 50th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekahiah, son of Menahem, became king of Israel. He ruled in Samaria for 2 years. In God's eyes, he lived an evil life. He stuck to the old sin tracks of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who led Israel into a life of sin. And then his military aide, Pekah, son of Remaliah, conspired against him, killed him in cold blood while he was in his private quarters in the royal palace in Samaria. He also killed Argob and Uriah. 50 Gadites were in on the conspiracy with him. After the murder, he became the next king. The rest of the life and times of Pekahiah, everything he did, is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Pekah of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, son of Remaliah, became king of Israel in Samaria. He ruled for 20 years. In God's view, he lived an evil life. He didn't deviate so much as a hair's breadth from the path laid down by Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who led Israel into a life of sin. During the reign of Pekah, king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser III, king of Assyria, invaded the country. He captured Ijon, Abel-Beth-Maacah, Genoa, Kedesh, Hazor, Gilead, Galilee, the whole country of Naphtali, and took everyone captive to Assyria. But then Hoshea, son of Elah, mounted a conspiracy against Pekah, son of Remaliah. He assassinated him and took over as king. This was in the 20th year of Jotham, son of Uzziah. The rest of the life and times of Pekah, everything he did, is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Jotham of Judah. In the 2nd year of Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, Jotham, son of Uzziah, became king in Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, daughter of Zadok. He acted well in God's eyes, following in the steps of his father Uzziah. But he didn't interfere with the traffic to the neighborhood sex and religion shrines. They continued as popular as ever. The construction of the high gate to the temple of God was his work. The rest of the life and times of Jotham, the record of his work, is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. It was during these years that God began sending Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, to attack Judah. Jotham died and joined his ancestors. They buried him in the family cemetery in the city of David. His son Ahaz was the next king. Chapter 16. Ahaz of Judah. In the 17th year of Pekah, son of Remaliah, Ahaz, son of Jotham, became king of Judah. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he ruled for 16 years in Jerusalem. He didn't behave in the eyes of his God. He wasn't at all like his ancestor David. Instead, he followed in the track of the kings of Israel. He even indulged in the outrageous practice of passing his son through the fire, a truly abominable act he picked up from the pagans God had earlier thrown out of the country. He also participated in the activities of the neighborhood sex and religion shrines that flourished all over the place. Then Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, ganged up against Jerusalem, throwing a siege around the city, but they couldn't make further headway against Ahaz. At about this same time, and on another front, the king of Edom recovered the port of Elath and expelled the men of Judah. The Edomites occupied Elath and have been there ever since. Ahaz sent envoys to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, with this message: "I'm your servant and your son. Come and save me from the heavy-handed invasion of the king of Aram and the king of Israel. They're attacking me right now." Then Ahaz robbed the treasuries of the palace and the temple of God of their gold and silver, and sent them to the king of Assyria as a bribe. The king of Assyria responded to him. He attacked and captured Damascus. He deported the people to Nineveh as exiles. Rezin he killed. King Ahaz went to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, in Damascus. The altar in Damascus made a great impression on him. He sent back to Uriah the priest a drawing and set of blueprints of the altar. Uriah the priest built the altar to the specifications that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. By the time the king returned from Damascus, Uriah had completed the altar. The minute the king saw the altar, he approached it with reverence and arranged a service of worship with a full course of offerings: whole burnt offerings with billows of smoke, grain offerings, libations of drink offerings, the sprinkling of blood from the peace offerings, the works. But the old bronze altar that signaled the presence of God, he displaced from its central place and pushed it off to the side of his new altar. Then King Ahaz ordered Uriah the priest, "From now on, offer all the sacrifices on the new altar, the great altar: morning whole burnt offerings, evening grain offerings, the king's whole burnt offerings and grain offerings, the people's whole burnt offerings and grain offerings, and also their drink offerings. Splash all the blood from the burnt offerings and sacrifices against this altar. The old bronze altar will be for my personal use." The priest Uriah followed King Ahaz's orders to the letter. Then King Ahaz proceeded to plunder the temple furniture of all its bronze. He stripped the bronze from the temple furnishings, even salvaged the 4 bronze oxen that supported the huge basin, the sea, and set the sea unceremoniously on the stone pavement. Finally, he removed any distinctive features from within the temple that were offensive to the king of Assyria. The rest of the life and times of Ahaz is written in the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. Ahaz died and was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. His son Hezekiah became the next king.